go back to the 90s!
Boom shakalaka!
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
My flows hit you at straight 88 miles per hour, that's enough to generate 1.21 gigawatts, son, and I'm on the run from the Libyans. It was a straight jack move for plutonium, and when they van rolls up, it's pandemonium. 1:18 a.m. at Twin Pines Mall is when I can pinpoint my total downfall. Now they say that
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to Nostal-Ged. Today I am joined by the littlest and cutest of all the Lost Boys, Too Small, actor Thomas Tulak. How are you doing, Thomas?
Oh, I'm doing all right. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, we're doing great. Over here in the UK, we've actually got a bit of sun for once.
Hey, look at that.
You don't know what it's like living in California. Over here, we get like 2 days of sun a year.
Man, there's a reason I live in California.
It must be nice. So, Too Small from Lost Boy, one of the Lost Boys from Hook.
Mm-hmm.
Hook came out in 1991, December 1991, I believe, which means we're coming up to a big anniversary.
Yep, 30 years.
Yeah, it makes us both feel old.
Yeah, I was 6 years old while on set, and I had my 7th birthday. And so now to figure like that's 30 years later, I'm turning 37 this year. Oh, man.
So I suppose the first question should be, because you were only 6 and you were the youngest of all the Lost Boys.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember it all?
I remember a lot. I'm sure there's stuff I don't remember. I mean, we're talking 30 years ago and I was 6, like you said. So I'm sure there's plenty I don't remember. But that kind of thing, especially at a young age, like it leaves an impression. So yeah, there's a good amount that will always be in my memory.
It's going to be a short YouTube video.
Right?
No, I don't remember any of it. See you later. One of the things, obviously, Hook is my favorite version of Peter Pan, and it should be for everybody. I mean, everybody loves the Disney Peter Pan. There was the new Pan with all the British actors and everything like that. I think it was Jonathan Isaac, the guy from Harry Potter, was in it. And then you had the Hugh Jackman one. Obviously, Hook was my favorite because it's Steven Spielberg, for one. I mean, he makes everything excellent. But with Hook, it's the sets for me. I mean, all the CG and, animation, everything like that's great, and all the other Peter Pans, but the sets made it feel so real. I mean, as a 6-year-old on the sets, what was that like?
Man, those sets were all real. We took up 7 or 8 sound stages on the Universal backlot, and they actually built all the sets that you saw there. The Never Tree was on 3 different sound stages. The Jolly Roger pirate ship was on a huge sound stage with 3 feet of water, and the walls and the backdrop were so far away that they could be painted like sky, and you would think it was real sky because it's huge soundstage, and then everything built to scale so that it looked right. And yeah, man, it was all real and it was all actually built and there, and I get to go climbing around through the Never Trees and the rail and everything. And so to me, it was like the greatest playtime that I've ever had, And the crazy bit is that you see all this, and then you walk around back, and it's all like the backside of everything's not painted. It's just exposed wood, 2x4, things like that. And so you can see the facade, and then you go around the front, and it's real again. And so, yeah, man, it was just the greatest. And I'll tell you, to this day, the smell of fresh cut lumber will always bring me right back, because that's what the set smelled like: pine, cedar, freshly cut lumber. That's what Neverland smelled like. So that will always bring me right back to that set.
The big pirate ships, and then you had all the different seasons in Neverland as well, with the penguins and everything. It must have been insane.
Oh man, it was great. You know how I know it was real? Because I broke my toe on one of the pirate ship set. There was a wooden plank walkway that led out to the ship, and we had just finished filming one of the scenes, and I'm walking back without shoes on, and my toe got caught in between 2 of the wooden planks, and I fell and I broke my toe on the set. So don't tell me it's not real. It broke my toe.
When I'm rewatching now, I'll watch you hobbling along in the background, like he's got to
Yeah.
So, Hook was your first film that you were ever in when you were 6.
That's correct.
A
Yes.
Steven Spielberg directed film with
Mm-hmm.
Robin Williams, Dustin Hoffman, Julia Roberts, Bob Hoskins, Maggie Smith. I mean, doesn't
Huge.
it's hard
The
to get
list
all
goes
stuff
on.
like that.
Yeah, Hook was the only things I had done prior to Hook. I had done. I was in a TV Guide ad, and I was in two two music videos with like a chorus of children for those big like celebrity crossover deals where they're singing "We Are the World" and "Can You Tell Me Who the Heroes Are" and that kind of thing. And so had all of the celebrity singers at the time come together, and there's a big chorus full of kids, and I was in that. But that's it. That was everything I did prior to Hook, and then I went and auditioned for Hook, and landed my first real gig, my first feature.
And there you
my
are,
first everything.
outside Mrs. Doubtfire and Mork.
Yes.
So, I mean, as great as obviously Dustin Hoffman is the best Captain Hook, Robin Williams is Robin Williams. I mean, the guy's the greatest. But the child actors, I mean, there's so many of you, not just the Lost Boys, but then you had, Peter's kids as well. What was that like, having such a big cast of kids? Was it just chaos all the time, or were you all very well trained and everything?
Oh no, it was interesting. It was because there was a huge age gap. There was a huge range of ages amongst all the kids. You had myself as the youngest at 6, and then you had Dante, who played Rufio, as the oldest at 17, and you had everywhere in between. So they kind of became, I guess, a social group kind of thing, where every group of kid kind of stuck together with their own age group, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I spent most of the time hanging out with the younger kids that were closer to my age, and the older kids with the older kids and that kind of thing. So I've heard stories about some of the older kids getting up to some hijinks and some things, but as far as like when we're not on set in front of the camera, myself and the younger ones, we kind of just played video games, or there was a basketball hoop, we shot some hoops, and just we had to go to school too. That was the other thing. In order to, because California law for underage performers, they have to continue going to school and maintain a certain GPA. And so so we had school every day for at least 4 hours, and it was still very regimented, so there wasn't a whole lot of chaos, at least among the younger kids. I can't speak to the older kids. I've heard some stories.
So what was the funnest day on set for you? I mean, I imagine the first day when you get onto that pirate ship, or the day where all the Lost Boys attack the pirate ship and you're there swashbuckling, or was it that day with the meals, the buffet? That. I don't know what it was. It was like mousse type thing.
There was the pies were whipped cream and food coloring, and then there was a lot of pies because whipped cream melts quickly. So and it was mixed with some other things to make it more frothy. I couldn't tell you, but there were a lot of them, so I had to keep swapping in and out. But if I had to pick a day that I had to say was the worst day on set, it would have to be filming that scene. That scene took 3 days to film. And because after we do the food fight, we had to reset so that we could do another take. So that meant that after we're throwing all this food around, they had to stop, clean it all up. All the kids had to go take a shower. And we're talking 30 something kids and 4 showers. So I stood in line for a good 20-30 minutes to get my turn to take a 5-minute cold shower to get off all of the food, just so I could go do it all over again. Those 3 days were not fun.
Oh, that's gonna ruin it for me. Well, like as a kid growing up, like I'm a year younger than you, so like imagine I was watching it when I was 6, 7, 8, and that'll just look like the most fun.
Oh yeah, I would love to say the actual food fight itself was fun. It was everything before and after. It was everything around it that was less than fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
As far as the funnest day, every other day. Like there's something else great that happened on every other day that I was there. So every other day was just great. It was just that one day, that one scene that you know was a pain in the ass.
So everybody's got obviously nothing but great things to say about Robin Williams. I mean, God bless him wherever he is. I mean, how was he with the kids?
Oh, he was great. He was like like a big brother, or a big uncle who just comes in to play the games and have fun, and then when serious things happen, he hands you off to the parents. Like that, he was the coolest person in the world. He never talked down to you. You always felt like you were on the same level as him. He was a great equalizer. He treated everyone the same. And there was no sense of ego or id or anything. Like he was the best friend that you could possibly hope for. He had his birthday party on set, and he served gummy bears and Kool-Aid. And he would come to my trailer, and he would knock on the door, and my mom would answer, and he'd go, "Can Tom come out to play?"
That's so great to hear, because obviously you hear the thing, never meet your heroes.
Yeah.
You build Robin Williams up in your mind as, Mrs. Doubtfire or Aladdin, he is that big kid, and it's so nice to hear that that's who he really is.
Absolutely, yeah. And too, like, he became my hero after I met him. Like, going into that, I didn't know him from Adam. And yeah, I didn't know. I had no idea the gravity of anything or anyone that was a part of that. I walked into Steven Spielberg's set, pounded my hand on his desk and said, "You want me in your movie?" Who does that to Steven Spielberg, So I didn't know. But after spending 7 months there, and then in the years that followed, I learned, just who these people are. And it was meeting Robin and spending time with him and developing that kind of relationship that he and I had, that he had with everybody that he met. He became my hero, and he became, like, he carved out a little spot in my heart and will always stay there no matter what. So yeah, I took his passing very hard, and the world is a little bit, dimmer without his presence in it.
Absolutely. We all miss him. You had a bit of a different path. I mean, there was so many, like you said, so many kid actors on set. You kind of carved out a different path for yourself. You hear all these horror stories about kid actors and, all this money and the fame and stuff like that. You took a different path. I mean, you were in other things as well as Hook, like Cheers and things like that. And then you stepped away and you wanted to have like a proper childhood, right?
Yeah, I was in the world for a couple of years. I did a few things, like you said, Cheers, an episode of Mad About You, a couple other things, a pilot for a show that never went anywhere. And then, yeah, I kind of, by the time I was around 8 years old, I kind of decided, you know what, I want to have a normal-ish upbringing, as normal as could be, So yeah, I kind of stepped away and went back into public school and kind of went back into the world so that I don't want to say so that I could avoid the horror stories that you hear about child actors, because that's not really where my mind was at the time.
Yeah.
I just, I wanted to spend time in the, with my friends and back in the normal real world for a minute. And so, yeah, so I left it and went back to public school, went back to my friends, went back to a normal-ish life. And then it wasn't until I was in my 20s that I decided, you know what, I'm ready to start trying to get back into that world again. So at that point, I started writing, and I'm spending time on the other side of the camera now as a writer and a director and producer and all kinds of things behind the camera, coming back into the world. But I feel better off. I don't want to say better off. I feel grateful that I made that decision to try to have a normal-ish upbringing and then come back to it as an adult. Because when you're a kid and you enter that world, it affects you. You're at the most impressionable time of your life, and you're experiencing things that, are life-changing. So yeah, it definitely can affect you, and you got to just be careful how, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm grateful that I did what I did.
You carved your own path.
Exactly, yeah. come back to it later as an adult when I have a more understanding of who I am and who I want to be.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, now you're not just acting now. Now you've got, director credits, and cinematography is a big thing for you now, isn't it?
Yeah, director, writer, cinematography, editor, kind of do everything. Kind of do a little bit of everything. In fact, this weekend I'm going to crew on another short film indie production, and I'm just going to be just crew, just helping out on set, not even any above the line credits or anything. And I just love filmmaking and being a part of it, and any chance I get, I want to take it.
Well, all the Nostal-Ged viewers will all be keeping track of you. So when you win your Oscar, make sure you hit us back up, okay?
You got it. And if you guys want to follow along, you head over to my production company website, easillyamusedgroup.com. You can sign up for our mailing list. You can see any of the productions that we put out in recent years, including on the 1-year anniversary of Robin's passing. I uploaded a music video original song that I had written in tribute to him. And there's also the Lost Boy reunion, remembering Robin there. And there's a whole section on that website dedicated specifically to the memory of Robin, because he lives so large in my heart and in all of our hearts that we had to create our own little kind of tribute to him. So
I know you guys leave your comments about your favorite Robin Williams films. There'll be a link to that below.
You got it.
Guys, I want to say a big thank you for Thomas joining us today, and we'll probably do something as a follow-up for when Hook does have its 30th anniversary in December. We'll do a special screening. We'll figure something out. Thomas, thank you so much for joining me.
Absolutely.
And we say, bangarang, Thomas.
Bangarang!
Thank you for joining me, Thomas. Take care.
All right.
What an amazing guest Thomas was. And if you guys haven't noticed, it's been a bit quiet on here for a while. That's because, unfortunately, a couple of weeks ago, I contracted COVID. So yeah, for the last 10 days, I have been in isolation, staying away from my 2 daughters I've missed greatly, but trying to keep them safe. I know things are starting to reopen, and I know it's starting to look like COVID isn't such a big deal anymore, but guys, please keep those face masks on. If you're having any symptoms, call your doctors. COVID is a serious issue, and you all need to be taking care, a lot more care than I did. I went out for the England game, and I got COVID. But getting back to the positive, Thomas was a great guest, and you can find a link to his production company in the description. I have got another special guest for you guys next week, and I've been using this time to get some writing done, so we'll have another top 10 video coming at you very soon. So yeah, I'm going to get back to me lemsip. Take care guys, please stay safe, see you next time, peace out.